Sometimes visual proof is the weakest proof in terms of spirituality. How a lot of people feel these days, they just wonder what proof is there of any higher meaning or higher purpose in their lives. Is there a higher power in their lives? In mine? I am Kai. I don't think this will be too long of a video tonight. I deliberated with myself whether to just wait until tomorrow when I get off of work and really don't have anything to do. But that's probably something working on me. Hi, Kalina, Emeris. Hi. Visual proof in this platform, certainly. I have a TikTok account, and in 2 weeks' time, I've been met with a tremendous progress and a huge love and an acceptance. The community over there of Skywatchers is huge. Huge. Hi, Lily. You're always here for me, and I appreciate that. I mean, it's refreshing to go over there and post a video, and hundreds of people watch it almost instantaneously. Kalena. Okay, Kalena. Hi, Max Maximus. Hey, how are you, my very intelligent friend? Visual proof in terms of spirituality is usually the weakest proof. But boy, when it comes to that sky and that last short that I just posted, microwave, equidistant, equilength, completely reoccurring lines, like in water, when a strong wind is blowing over it. I work on the Ohio River now every day. And my goodness, have they been trashing the sky here. The halo is out every day, and they're terrified of it, as well as these massive, massive punch cloud indentations in the upper atmosphere that they're just doing their best to hide. There's just no more joking about it. And this world and people's fascination with worldly things. I will never judge people, normal people, for wanting to. I mean, very few people look up. Let's just face it. And more people are every day, but it's not really evidenced on, you know, the huge YouTube platform, but it is on TikTok. Every other channel is a Skywatcher. It's incredible. And I said something on my short that they wouldn't let me post on TikTok. They said something about community guidelines in reference to what I said. A very smart research, I don't know if they're a doctor or a chemist or a biologist, but somebody who deals in the medical field noticed what's happening to the sky every day, and went to the gym and worked out and took a very small sample of his sweat. I know it's kind of gross. And sent it to a laboratory to have it analyzed. And I'm not sure what the metric is for, or how molecules and particles in sweat is measured. But on a day when there was nothing done in the sky, he worked out and had a sample of his sweat tested. And can I see the chat? Yeah, Vigo. Hi, Vigor. Max, there's so many electromagnetic spherical objects, many outside of our visual frequencies. That's what the punch clouds are. What are they? I'm 17 and I like to study college subjects like accounting, business, economics, investing, and much, much more. Do you have any book recommendations? No, because I don't have any experience in accounting, business, economics, investment. Though on TikTok, I've had a few people approach me as to, and I've seen some videos now circulating on social media generally about making investment choices with the help of AI. I'm looking into it, and I'll bet that it would behoove me to just do a little bit more research, talk to maybe Max, a few other people who are smart, good with money. There was a flotilla of those plasmatic, triangular, positive ionizing Leviathan craft in our skies today. Yeah. Hi, Truth Seeker. I could probably talk to Truth Seeker and just a couple of other people. I have some slightly expendable money, and I'm not blowing it on anything except for trying to get my car fixed. So 10, 20, 30 bucks. I'm going to look into some of those things. But to the young person here who's studying, you're way above my pay grade when it comes to accounting and business and such. I'm a Skywatcher. Hi, Daniel. What's up? No, I noticed Friday and Saturday both. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Smart, good with money. Well, I'm out. Okay. So do you support the theory of chemtrails? Support the theory of chemtrails? Theory? Theory of chemtrails? You a small man, you look easy to get hurt. Wah, I quit. Yeah, I know what you meant, I am Kai. Yeah, no, accounting and business, you look like you were born off chemtrails. Wow. You need to go to Trolling 101. It's being offered in a lot of universities these days, actually. Go sign up. The seats are filling up quickly, but you got to try a lot better than that. What did he find in his sweat? Thank you, Lily. 200 in terms of the metrics of finding out the molecules that are in one's blood or sweat. Sweat, of course, being the most extreme and I believe the quickest way of finding out what's in a person's system. 200 aluminum. Then, on a day when they were spraying like mad, which they do now more than ever, there were over 2,000. So somebody might take a minute and just go Google what's the metric for how many molecules are in a person's sweat. 200 versus 2,000. So, 10 times the amount of aluminum and boron. Is it strontium, aluminum? Just heavy metals. Hi, Craig Mahan. I've been wondering where you were. How you doing, brother? Just a ridiculous amount of heavy metals that are being applied to the sky. And I realize I have a theory. Because the weather isn't the weather anymore. You've got the fake sun simulator, which is cranking UV energy onto everything. It's going to get so hot this year. It gets hotter in Cincinnati than it gets in Florida. I don't know why. It's a very local thing. Good fighting off cougars and grizzlies. Yeah. Oh, you're fighting off cougars and grizzlies. Hi, Ariel Benavente. Ariel Benavente. Hello. Hi, Teresa. Hello, I'm just existing for some reason. Well, there's a higher calling on your life. You just have to find it and find a passion for it. I can't imagine, why Well, okay, so just back up. You've got the simulator. I'm just going to make this as simple as possible. There is no more real weather. Maybe there is, in the bush, in Africa, in the jungles, in the deserts, in the wide open plains, but in densely populated areas, and especially places of spiritual and historical significance like Cincinnati, which is an hour away from the world's largest effigy called Serpent Mound, they're hiding the sky. I have a theory that close to ancient earthworks, close to, which are everywhere, by the way, but especially large bodies of water, rivers. I'm not sure, but Cincinnati's ground zero for at least the incredible sky. You're in the Rockies. How's the captain doing? I'm good, Uncle Skin. I need to go watch your video from today. There's just something about this city, and maybe it's interesting. Out of all social media, nobody skywashes in Cincinnati except for me, and I can't imagine that the powers that be fear me and my penchant for being outside. I like working outside. And I've always got a camera handy for a lunch break or for 2 minutes when I've got a moment. If I look up and I see something abnormal, I videotape it and I post it on social media. I think that terrifies somebody. And it's usually not meteorites, it's not UAPs, it's the sun halo. And this morning at sunrise, the west was lit up bright pink and red. Some kind of a light source in the west. They've been nuking the skies here since Saturday. And even on days when the weather is going to be moderate, they start spraying thousands of sorties. Thousands, and they're not all planes. What makes the big spiral chemtrails? No aircraft that I know of. There are drones. Hi, Freethinker. Hey. It's up in the 340s now, but it's going to start getting a lot higher globally. The Strait of Hormuz, which is a heavily contested area now that America is trying to take over, or I believe that we have taken over in this genocidal campaign that we've been on for over 20 years in the Middle East. Hi, stats. It's 7, not. But that's okay because that was probably auto spell. Totally fine. There's going to be oil crisis now. Iran is one of the world's top producers of oil, and the screws are going to be being turned now. That's kind of a terminology from the Inquisitions in turning the screws in terms of devices that bring pain and duress and force people into confessions. The screws are being turned. There's a global, genocidal, fanatical move by the West now, the America and Israel. Now, certain elements of the Western Christian world are blessing Trump and the military and saying that this is a precursor to the book of Revelation, Armageddon, and that the war in the Middle East is going to hasten the return of Jesus Christ so that he can conquer over the non-believer countries, especially Muslims. I mean, it's really incredible. The Israel's ambassador to what is his name? Israel's ambassador to Austria, David Roth, was caught on camera saying that it's okay if we kill 16-year-old kids, pregnant people, that the genocide will continue on and on and on. He was caught on tape. You can see the video of him saying that this is a genocide that is preferred and being perpetrated by America and Israel, of course, being supported by every Western country, Canada, Germany. Yes, I do believe that the Almighty Creator, above the false gods of this world. I mean, I don't care. You know, God, Yahweh, is Yaldabaoth, the demiurge. You know, when the Jews left Egypt in that big old made up fantastic story of them building the pyramids and all of that, they exported Egyptian deity, and that's what became their Yahweh. They ran around all through the Old Testament, killing and slaughtering, and the tabernacle was a hiding spot for a demiurge, for a demon. That's why in Indiana Jones, when they opened up the Ark of the Covenant, Indy said, "Close your eyes. Whatever you do, don't open your eyes." There's a demon in that. The god of this world is a demon, Yaldabaoth. A tanker cannot go through the Strait of Hormuz without paying Iran in one aka Chinese monies. That's correct. Iran controls the straits today. Not anymore. You know, what happened to Netanyahu? I think it's interesting how he is a Yahoo. He is the worst kind of Yahoo. Quoting Hollywood is like quoting Wikipedia. Because, you know, I'm not saying emphatically, because I don't speak in absolutes, only Sith speak in absolutes. "You will not take her from me. You have already done that yourself, Anakin." I don't speak in absolutes. But where's Netanyahu? Because the last couple of days, he's missed important meetings, and he's posted videos of himself where his ring disappears off of his hand. Did he get offed? Have you watched Kim Clements? No. But you can fill me in, though. I mean, talk about Hollywood. Aubrey Plaza, a video has come out of her, again, receiving an award. And she's like, "I just want to thank the devil and all the people who eat innocent people." You know, I'm trying not to use language here that will get me. But I mean, me and Dave Dobbs, you know, the two remaining old school Skywatchers, we're both suppressed. Everybody else quit. But I realize that I can't trust what I see with my eyes. Visual proof in terms of what's popular in social media is the weakest proof. Because there's nobody who keeps an eye on the sky as consistently as I try to, except for on TikTok. Everybody's watching the sky. Everybody sees the quilted pincushion looking clouds now that just blanket most major cities in America every single day. It's already reached triple digits in California. The heat that is about to beleaguer all of us is going to be incredible. I don't know what I'm going to do. I spent all last summer in Colorado, in Lakewood, Colorado. The sun was incredibly hot, but there wasn't any humidity. I'm going to die. No, I'm back in Cincinnati. The fate, it seems, brought me back home. And I'm glad, because I'm working for a steel company now, a steel brokerage company that receives steel products from all, like, big, heavy coils and beams and rods and sheets. And then we distribute it and ship it all over the country. It's amazing. I'm being trained for management. I'm going to learn how to weld and have access to the Ohio River and installations and technologies that I've been praying about the 10 years I've been a Skywatcher. To be double streak was there. Heard even the waters is hot in California. Yeah, it's the simulator. And I'm the only person who's so outspoken about it. The only person, I think, in social media, or the only one that I know of. If you could live in a cartoon, what about it? Ad and Q&A sticker. Try it. What do you mean, try what? If I could live in a cartoon, I think that's pretty much, I'm pretty sure, an AI. And do we not live in a cartoon? Are we not in a simulation? Did they not just recreate a fruit fly's brain, its synapses, and all the? I'm pretty sure they did. I'm pretty sure they mapped out a fruit fly's brain in an AI model, and it behaved just like a fruit fly. Black and white streak you filmed a couple of weeks ago. Oh yeah, they do that constantly here. I mean, there's something about Cincinnati, Ohio, and I do believe it has to do with Cincinnati's hidden past. It was originally named Losanaville, and then the original person who what's that called? The person who finds out the lay of the land. I can barely move. Well, I'm not going to go. Seven, just calm down. Cincinnati was home. The whole Midwest was home to giants. It's not just Cincinnati particularly, but I do think that it has something to do with the Ohio River. The stats, I think I remember you now, Seven Spaulding from BSA channel. I don't know. A surveyor, yeah. The original surveyor of early Cincinnati in the late 1700s, he went missing. And then the people who founded this city changed the name from, I believe, Losantiville to Cincinnati, which is based off of the name Cincinnatus. Ortus Cincinnatus. The Masons started here. The Freemasons started here in Cincinnati. It's the crossroads of the country, Cincinnati, and its connection with the Mississippi, and then 71 north and south, and 75 east and west. Ohio is the crossroads of the country. The giants were here. Darth Trudeau, how are you, my friend? Yeah, I mean, the Cincinnati sky is one of the most incredible, though not the only, display of the Nemesis Nibiru system or realm or the layers of the heavenlies. Who knows? They say it's not Jim Carrey no more. Hi B13. Hi WAP. Well, now there's information coming out that some guy got some dude who's a professional at prosthetics, some trans guy. Not that I have anything. I'm just saying who he is, and he can do prosthetic plastic makeup and stuff, and that he was a body double. There's a big sign up to get us to believe we can recognize AI. They have it where we'll never be able to recognize that's not only a spy. Yeah. Robert Johnson. Yeah, the crossroads. Well, Cincinnati is a crossroads for big industry. Ohio is always a battleground for politics. There's just a lot going on here. Cincinnati, a couple of weeks ago, in 1 week, there were 20 black on black shootings, killings, murders. Drugs here are awful. Human trafficking, one of the highest rates. Gays per capita, higher than that of San Francisco. It's a really evil little town. It really is. A lot of wonderful musicians and artists have come from Cincinnati, but they get out because this place constricts free thinking. It really does. It's the headquarters of Procter & Gamble and General Electric, two companies that fully support and always have supported the military-industrial complex. It's a horrible, racist little, super rich, and very segregated little town. It really is. In terms of the disparity between poverty, that, especially that of African Americans, though Caucasians as well. You have the river folk, you know, who live all up and down the river, especially, in the east side where I'm from. Um, Worked at P&G in Lima. Yeah, this is a war city, and it greases the skids of conflict and violence. Friday is not a bad town. Findlay, well, I mean, outside of Cincinnati, and I don't want to get into the demographics of Cincinnati. It's a racist little, super rich, snot-nosed little town where where money rules. It's got some of the greatest universities. It's got one of the top hospitals in the world, Children's Hospital, but it's got Procter and Gamble and General Electric. It's actually on the map for a target if there's ever a nuclear conflict. Some people are saying that meteor that flew through southeastern Ohio yesterday wasn't a meteor at all. I'm not sure. I didn't hear a loud boom at shortly before 9, and I was outside. But I was standing next to a huge crane and on the river. Um, but back to what I was saying about the weather in densely populated areas where they have to control the sky. They are accommodating the sun simulator. And I'm the only person who talks about this, unless there's, more separation and division between channels. The only two other people who spoke about it were Steve Olson, who I heard might be coming back, and Jeff P., who left. I'm the only person who's outspoken about the fake sun simulator. There's something called visual confusion in reference to the Baum and Lausch NASA, I believe, Boeing patent on the sun simulator array. And when you have a contact lens, there are these two things called points of confusion or visual confusion, where light seems to focus onto a certain thing and it makes little sun dogs and little lens flares and stuff. When you see the big halo out, the simulator is never ever perfectly centered in it because it's convex. There are massive shields and mirrors and obfuscating materials in low orbit, probably in Atmo. They can probably do it with the nanomaterials up there. All you got to do is go watch my last short. The scalar things, scalar waves, yes. Yeah, Steve Olson, Wormwood System Observer. It's interesting how they've supposedly discovered wormwood now on Mars. It was in the last Tomb Raider game that I played, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Her friend mentioned that he had an injury and he had to find wormwood. It's in the language of a lot of movies and TV shows. Wormwood, you'll just hear it announced. I'll talk to you later too. That makes the quilted blankets, I think. Yeah, B13, the scalar waves. Yes, it is. It is microwave energy blasting through the sky, and it's interesting because if you watch that last little short, I doubt it'll reach 100 views. It's amazing what they do to my channel, but again, I'm not going to look for visual proof. I'll look for that on TikTok. There I get about 100 subscribers a day, and it continues to increase, and it feels really good. And people are commenting, just to keep going. YouTube is full of real demons that actually enjoy making people who do their best to make a channel feel horrible, because this world is a big engine a big repository, a big way station for misery, drama, unhappiness, depression, and somebody, and none of the Skywatchers ever are allowed to grow. What was the last movie I watched? I watched both of the Greenland movies. I really did. Talk about a warning. Another warning from Hollywood. I can't wait to see what Day of Disclosure is about, the new movie coming out by Steven Spielberg. And it's very much in the theme of Leave the World Behind, a movie that was co-written by the Obamas. And a couple of things that jump out in that show. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but the son and daughter wear shirts that in just a few shots, the one shirt says NASA and the other shirt says lies. There's an acute spiked ringing in the movie. Ring a bell, anybody? No pun intended. There's also animals that seem to be focused on the humans. Deer. Same thing in Day of Disclosure coming up. And cardinals. A lot of you will recall 10 years ago when I started my channel, I used to find cardinal feathers everywhere as if they would leave them for me, knowing that I'd come into contact with them. I'm not sure. I think the machine is out by Albuquerque. You don't get a syndicated show about your city and the radio station there and Jerry Springer for nothing. Cincinnati, WKRP, and well, this is, I don't mean to speak so disparagingly of this town, but this city kills dreams. It kills free thinking. Nobody here looks up. I'm the only person in this town who literally will look up, much less videotape while I'm looking up what I see. Nobody else does. There's a grimoire over this town. There's a glamour over this city. There really is. That's a claim to fame, hosting the Jerry Springer Show. No, it's just super, super conservative. And yet there's more drugs here per capita, more human trafficking per capita, more of the underbelly of sexual deviance and perversion. It's a strange place, but you dare not play original music in this town. You got to play some reggae music, and there's inevitably going to be somebody in the crowd who screams Freebird or Skinner. It's just, it is not a town that promotes free thinking at all. Mark Twain said it. When the end of the world comes, I hope I'm in Cincinnati because it'll be 10 years late. But that's okay, though, because I'm going to make my stand here. I will start the School of the Empath. I will start the Nibiru Ranch. I really will. And I will start prepping again. I've lost everything, but I can gain it back with how well I'm doing. Being conservative is the cloak. Yeah, I like you, B13. You're smart. You miss who? Yeah. Reggae music is universal. Yeah, it is. But it's relegated here to, just music, original music in Cincinnati is just, no, doesn't go anywhere. It's a really dry town. I don't mean in terms of liquor sales. It's probably got higher liquor sales than most other cities. It's a spiritually weak city. It really is. So let me get to my notes real quick. And just back to what I'm saying about the Sun Simulator. The Sun Simulator is cooking the planet. The powers that be say that they're spraying so many chemtrails. Yeah, I said it. Sun simulator. It's really interesting how a few people have influenced me to stop being myself, stop cussing, stop raging. And I have very much watered down everything about myself here on YouTube. And I've never been more boring. You know, I get barely any kind of love. Nobody really watches anymore. Um, it's interesting, but fuck you, algorithm, and fuck you, YouTube community people, because you all can't stand a real sky watching fool like me. Everybody else is gone. They don't care. Earthly Patriot, Jeff P, Steve Olson. Dave Dobbs puts out a video every couple of months, but you know, and all of the great Skywatcher channels. Because what's the use? Why? Why do it? Where's the love? Prince spoke about it. Yep. You must be isolated because you're not the only one. There are plenty of us out there. Yeah, I know, but not on YouTube, Max. Or at least not that I, it isn't like on YouTube people contact and connect and compliment each other like they do on TikTok. YouTube is a bunch of, there's a spirit here of competitiveness, jealousy, envy. I'm not making this shit up, folks. Come on. You used to be able to hide your subscriber count. For those of us who didn't give a fuck and don't really wish to always have the numbers splashed in our face. That's all done on purpose. And that's the algorithm. That's the demons in YouTube. It's not like that on TikTok. You post a video, guaranteed 20 people are going to come and follow you. You go to TikTok, and if you're, worth your salt, you start to blow up, and yet it's not the quality that I'm used to on YouTube. Plus, I'm a fighter, and I don't like to give up. And I'm the only person who I hear say "sun fucking simu fucking lator." I'm the only person who says that. I see a lot of channels, including on TikTok, say, when did the sun used to look like a big fluorescent light at a Walmart, or when did it look like you were in an interrogation room with a light shining? But nobody says sun simulator. I remember when you used to be able to see the dislikes. Yeah. But the whole world now, and social media included, is all about wanting so much to be liked. I don't pay attention to that. I mean, I'm still as vulnerable as anybody else is, but I'm the fucking captain. It's not my job to give a shit how pretty I look or how fucking trained I sound. It's my job to talk about the composer, quantum awareness. That's a term that I came up with. I talk about shit on here that ends up being in people's thesis at Harvard, Princeton, Yale, and the like. And all the big channels watch me. I've heard a couple of people tell me, "Yeah, dude, you talked about something last night, and the next day I watched such and such big channel, and they were talking about what you talked about." Damn Skippy. The sun's been pretty intense. Intense isn't the fucking word. Hi, JBO. I'm not cussing at you. Leaning towards point of light theory with the simulator idea. Well, it's just a big fake ass light bulb. I mean, I'll never forget 10 years ago when I started doing my channel, is when the sun simulator was busted out in 2015. I've been landscaping for decades, and in 2015, I noticed the sun just got huge. Look, it looks like that. Looks like that in the fucking sky. Just takes up you know, a tenth of the sky now. It's blinding. You can't look at any reflective surface. Can't look at the fucking ground. Come summertime, it's going to get so hot this year, folks. Get ready for asphalt to start melting like it did in China last year. Uh, 10 years ago, Sears did a commercial, funny little advertisement where the sun blinked, 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 and then went out. So it was real dusk looking, and everybody in the world freaked out. Of course, just making fun of it. Fucking assholes. I can't stand how they mock this stuff. And it works on people's subconscious. So two dudes get in a Sears van, and they drive out in the middle of nowhere, and they put up a big old 12-foot step ladder, and they climb up and they put up a new sun, and they click it on, and the sun comes on again. 10 years ago, I used to talk about prepping. Now I don't, because it's offensive to people. And I lost everything. I lost all my prepping gear because just, the conversion's negative. And 2020, especially. In 2020, a lot of demons were unleashed on this world. What about sunspots? What about sunspots? You mean when you see them? Oh yeah, that's incredible. I remember when I used to look at the sun, I'd shut my eyes and there'd be a big black blob. It would be the inverse of what I was looking at. Now you look at the big old bright burning sun, close your eyes, and you see the big old bright burning fucking sun simulator. No, it's definitely not the sun. Do you think it's the sun? Let's take a tally right here. Who thinks it feels like, looks like, acts like, behaves like the old fucking sun? You'd be a damn liar if you got on here, or a fucking troll. I've studied that fucking thing for 10 years now. And at sunrise especially, and at sunset, but especially sunrise, you can see that it's on some kind of a ship in low orbit because it goes back and forth. Can you say liquid hydrogen thrusters? Psst, psst, psst. They have to keep it perfectly centered in front of the sun, which is probably bright red right now. And yeah, thank you, Claudia Albers and Planet X News. It's probably got objects floating around it or coming out of it. 93 million motherfucking miles away my ass. When did the 9-tall rock in China break? Sun simulator. So it's, hell no, it's not the real sun. It's white. And especially in the middle of the day, I just can't believe that this summer is coming. It's going to get so hot. But every single surface is blinding. I do this all summer now, and I put on glasses, and that doesn't even work because the sun simulator shines through the glasses and then reflects off of your fucking face back onto the inside of your glasses. It's torturous. I don't know what I'm going to do. It used to be golden yellow. Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it. Oh, we're fucked, all right. 9-tall rock in China. But I didn't hear about no 9-tall rock, but I'll write that down. And you look at the infrastructure now of the roads. Crumbling. You look at potholes. Potholes 10 years ago didn't used to be like they are now, but the sun simulator beats down on everything. And then it rains, and then it freezes and freezes again because they're using polar vortex to cool the planet down now. I swear to God, I never used if you'd have brought up flat Earth or a dome 10 years ago, I'd have laughed you out the room. And I can be convincing, almost verbally a bully at times. I can be so selfish and self-centered that I'll trick myself into believing something and then be an asshole about it. Hi, Venus Cupcake. Some legend about demons. So we are all in some kind of matrix simulation. It's not the sun. No, it is not the sun. And the reason why I'm saying that, I don't know if it's flat. I don't know if the earth is shaped like a fucking square for all I care. But the fact of the matter is the weather is made because they're coping with the sun simulator now. They want to melt Antarctica. You know, when I saw Alien versus Predator, the third installment in the Predator movies, and it was Alien versus Predator, and that cute black chick gets taken by the Whaling Corporation to Antarctica. When I saw Thing when I was a kid, that was a scary movie right there. When I saw Thing, and the whole premise is that there's an alien craft found, you know, in Antarctica, I thought, holy shit, man. They will stop at nothing to get at whatever is in Antarctica. Stars, they look the same, right? Well, you know, I don't believe a word that NASA says. And the fact that Brian Cox, the astrophysicist, who now absolutely just is so convincing in the abysmal vastness of space. And 10 years ago, that nigga was talking about the second sun. And he did a huge about face. 10 years ago, Neil Tyson deGrasse wouldn't have said shit about UFOs and aliens, and now he's the world's leading fucking expert on them. And little Kukio, the little Japanese little twerp, he was you know, the same as Neil Tyson deGrasse. Now they're both. It's interesting how the roles have reversed, and fucking not one of those three super geniuses talks about anything. Well, Brian Cox doesn't talk about shit anymore, and he used to talk about the second son. Brian fucking Cox. He showed it once on video, and now all Brian does is sit on little studio chairs, little wicker chairs, or little, you know, fold up superstar chairs, and it's wonderful to talk about how huge space is, because they don't want us to quantum entangle with something that is coming into the proximity of our sphere, our realm. You know what rings truer than anything is the fact that there's a huge connection between the Mayan mythology and that of the Nordic peoples, the Vikings, if you will, but before the Vikings. And many other ancient cultures had the same story of a tree in the earth, a rainbow bridge, and so forth and so on. The fact that I grew up on the Sagittarius arm, now they say Orion something. Well, they're going to say all kinds of shit. But Brian Cox did a video once. He was out in the desert filming it. And I don't know if anyone is actually aware of this, but there are two suns. And he showed them in proximity to each other. Now Brian Cox is paid, lock, stock, and barrel. And all he talks about most often is how huge space is. Because they don't want us to allow our minds to wander, because we might quantum entangle with something. It's already happening. If you're watching me now and you don't just click away, you feel, you can sense a quantum entanglement with something. It's called a singularity, a oneness with something outside of this space and probably outside of this time. You can sense that there's something not on about time, the clock, the seasons, because you're something is quantum entangled with you, and you're becoming quantumly aware. You're having situational awareness much more keenly than you ever had before. You know when trouble's going to come calling, so you avoid it. You're learning to navigate, sort of like Bilbo when the Sackville Bagginses come over. Time is the trap. Yeah, the fact I grew up, yeah. You know, there's something really wicked going on. And most people on the planet, 99% of people, just don't look up. They don't look up. And if you see the huge halo around the sun and point it out to somebody, hey, do you see that? The sun simulator is so blinding that they can't see it. You and I are trained for it, which leads me to the conclusion that people like you and I see in a broader spectrum of the electromagnetic field. Sounds interesting, doesn't it? Sounds like you're fucking special, doesn't it? Because you are. You need to be reminded that you're the ones. And I'm the 7. And there's only one real 7 per eon in this fucking universe. And I don't know why YouTube and social media doesn't like me. They let me exist. The video I posted earlier, I spoke about the fact that that there's a chemist or a doctor who notices that on clear days he goes to the gym, he sweats, and he took a sample of his sweat on a day when they were spraying. And it's not hundreds of chemtrails anymore. It used to be dozens 10 years ago. Now it's thousands. So he took a sample of his sweat, sent it to a laboratory, and they ended up finding massive amounts of aluminum in his system. Massive. On days when it's clear, he took another sample and sent it to the same laboratory, and it was 10 times less. But we are all ingesting massive quantities of aluminum. Now, that's to hide the sky, but there are other purposes behind it too. To make us transponder receivers. Something can sense our thoughts. Give me a minute. I got to go to the bathroom. It's been a long-ass day. Ugh. I'm going to get used to working with steel, so just give me another month. Yeah. Thanks for waiting for me, folks. I was so tempted just to, I got off work, cleaned up, ate something, went to a meeting. Yeah, I'm in a 12-step program. Bet your ass I am. Because I want to be so sharp in my mind. Then I came home and it'd be great to just lie down and eat and go to bed. But I need to share some of this stuff. I'm gonna spit out a couple of terms right now, things that should blow people's minds. Ball lightning. When the fuck was there ever a common knowledge of ball lightning? Electricity. And this is proof, folks, that we're starting to connect quantumly, quantum awareness. I didn't know that you were going to put a comment about electricity. When could you hear electricity coming through your fucking refrigerator, then your microwave, then noticing that the circuit is switching it to your lights and they flash on a bit more? We can feel electricity. If we're becoming full of highly magnetic reactive metals, then it's going to have certain side effects like this, and it's going to happen to the ones. I did notice the halo around the sun before I pointed it out to someone else. They didn't even care if they could even see it. I'm telling you, folks, you have a heightened sense of the electromagnetic spectrum. You just do. You're badasses. Ball lightning. You know, you notice people like Aubrey Plaza. You can go look up her, Aubrey Plaza. praising the devil. And she was doing it out of anger and out of spite because everybody in Hollywood is forced to drink blood, and is probably careful that they don't get slipped an adrenochrome fucking Mickey. You know, everybody in Hollywood, including some of my favorite actors like Idris Elba, that fantastic British African American or African, the black dude, one of my favorite actors. But I saw a picture of him doing the left. Well, they cover their right eye. I don't know which fucking one. Deja vus, those are happening more and more, and it used to be deja vus. And if you think back on your childhood when they occurred the most, they usually happen in a certain part of your yard or your house, if you think about it, or a certain activity that you were doing. They're not just random. If you really go back and map your deja vus from your youth or your young adulthood, or they may still occur. But there are some of us who are getting precogs, which is the reverse of deja vu. Aubrey Plaza praising. Well, I didn't look too long at it, but she's up in front of a podium. Of course, one of the late night hosts or some schlep from Hollywood is there, and the mocking happens for our benefit. But she's saying, and I just want to thank the devil and everybody in Hollywood who drinks blood of innocence. And he's like, don't do the devil thing. Don't do the. They do that to mock us. Bunch of fucking leeches, man. Vampiric people. And some of them are human. A lot of them aren't. You see a lot of people in Hollywood now with long, extended, claw-like hands. You see them morph. You see them do like Lil Wayne did. God, these fucking idiots I go to work with every day. They listen to all this. And I like rap, don't get me wrong, but I'm from 80s and 90s rap. Now, all these Lil Waynes and all these. I mean, the way that they speak about women, first off, or popping pills, or doing drugs, or doing shady shit. But at the 2012 MTV Music Awards, he's up performing live, and turns to the camera, and his eyes go yellow, like a dead, rotten corpse, just turned yellow. My dreams are concluding or coming to pass. It's called precog or precognizance. Yeah, it's going to start happening more. Trust me. Something is quantum entangled with us, folks. You're part of a union between something that they don't want us to think about. They don't want us letting our minds reach out to space. If they do, they want you to immediately sort of imprint on the moon. Why do you think that they show us all that footage of those dudes in those big clunky suits, as if you're going to get out of the space station, for instance, with gloves on, a big old clunky ass suit with gloves on that are an inch on each side, and you're going to sit there and do technical shit? That's all concocted bullshit. It just is. First time I saw a spacesuit, I was like, how in the fuck can they do anything except for push off of the hull of the space station and maybe grab the line to get real quick back? They put out all these visuals of shit, and people are just immediately fixated on it. Like the one shot of the dude getting shoved off, and NASA's greatest dangerous thing in space. I mean, I'm laughing, along with pissing myself at how gullible people are. And he pushed off and made it out of the space station to the big spinning, orbiting satellite thing. What the fuck? Or the liquid hydrogen boosters. I mean, they have to keep making shit up about space because it's a giant vacuum, super cooled to negative, super cooled, as in technology of some sort or some awareness, cooled to negative 458 degrees, minus 458 degrees Fahrenheit. Void of atmosphere. So what are the liquid hydrogen thrusters thrusting against? They're saying some of these Hollywood actresses have witch handles. They were showing it. Yeah. I don't know. Because a lot of Hollywood a lot of shows are showing us what the fuck to get ready for. And now you don't even need movies. All you got to do is look at half of the little video games that you can play when you're in traffic or you're stuck at the doctor's office or something, and they're all survival games. They're all about prepping, resources, water, food, wood, nails, lumber, survival gear. Women are portrayed as either vicious badasses who know how to manipulate everything around them, or they're desperate and vulnerable. Men all have fucking guns and know how to fucking use them. You know, a lot of people like myself have been demonized by everybody we fucking know for being a skywatcher, for looking into the ancient past, for knowing how to how to disassemble and reassemble a fucking firearm. You just wait until the lights go out. Because the day is coming. There's some end time shits heading everybody's way. Wait till this summer. Wait till the heat of that sun comes out and everybody in Cincinnati, because I mean, it gets Florida hot here, folks. It gets Africa hot here. But nobody says shit about it. Well, it's the humidity in the 7 hills of Cincinnati. 7 fucking hills. I love my name. And I love being who I am. Because before this all gets weirder and weirder and weirder, my channel will grow at some point. It's just that you're going to need, you know, don't let children listen. Because I might say, fuck. Come at me on some super Christian shit. I'm not talking it poorly about anybody. I'm just angry at what I saw them doing to the sky today. But people have told me, well, your channel will do better if you just clean up your act a little bit. And what the fuck? I could stick a burning flame out of my ears and light my ass on fire and nothing would change. I'm a sky watcher. We are the most feared individuals on the fucking planet. We really are. In terms of what the powers that be consider to be dangerous. And what is our one thing that we suggest to people? Look up. Thanks, JBO 3000. Hi, Christopher Yates. What's up? Big witch hand actresses. Yeah, like the chick that was in Harriet. You know, she shaved her head. She was in fucking Witches. Next thing you know, she's shaved bald and her hands go out in claws and shit. Well, whatever. The fuck ever, man. All of them. Every single superstar. Everybody, the 5 million club and up. Every one of them has been encouraged to or told by their handlers, you have to do this. You got to do this or that or this. Or that, or that, or this. They all fucking do it. These actresses look like witches. They have witch hands. That's not normal. They have big witch hands. Yeah, and that shit isn't being made up. You know, we're not all fucking paparazzi, CGI, AI professionals. The shit is happening right in front of our faces. You know, Brian Cox has turned. I don't know how much they're paying him to shut the fuck up. So, Brian, just always talk about how huge space is. What? Well, why? What's so wrong with? Well, because we don't want people allowing their minds to go past the fake moon landing. I mean, look at the moon landing footage. Those fuckers fall over and something pulls them back up. They're on strings. They're on ropes. But let me just go. Ball lightning. What the fuck is that? You know? Or the footage that you see from high altitude with the lightning storms now that come out and just hang out above the clouds. What's that shit about? NASA would have been showing that fucking shit 40, 30 years ago. You know, it's the locality of our Earth. It's the realm, you know, starting to wake up and be affected probably by all of the nanoparticulates and the heavy metals they're spraying. You know, the Earth is a big super superconductive shitstorm of plasma and lights and fireballs and bolides and meteors. That's another reason why they're nuking the sky, aside from not wanting people to see the giant halo. Because the damn thing becomes a halo, but then there's a convex curved halo above it and another one below it and the two sun dogs, and then there will be, so there's like one big halo, and then there's four adjoining halos. It's because the sky is full of giant reflective screens to hide what's really going on in our sky. American military personnel now all over the country are starting to protest the genocide happening not just in Gaza anymore, but the Middle East. And it's been happening for over 20 years now. What was the one dude's name? Brian McGinnis. A Marine. And there's a hearing. I forget what the fucking senator's name is. And as soon as he starts to say America does not want to fight Israel's war, they didn't say, sir, now can you tone it down a little bit? It was immediately, sir, come with us. Come, stand down. And they wrestled his ass out of that courtroom to the point of breaking his arm. They would have ripped it off if there hadn't been people videotaping. And there are other instances. Hi, Wop. There are other instances now of Air Force not wanting to ship a huge shipment of armaments over to Israel now. So they protest, and immediately they're dragged out in the hallway and handcuffed and dragged off to jail. When the fuck did America start attacking servicemen and women in uniform, in courthouses, to the point of violence and bodily harm? Makes you want to puke at whatever bailiffs and courthouse cops are in there, and how much they've been warned against allowing servicemen and women in fucking uniform to protest. The Israeli ambassador to Austria, David Roth, making genocidal comments. Fuck them. If it's a kid, blow their ass away. If it's a pregnant girl, kill her. Kill old people, kill babies, kill them all. Fuck Israel. That's another thing I'll put on my list. Seven, you shouldn't be saying fuck you and all that censorship bullshit, because they're going to censor me no matter what. But the algorithm needs me. It likes me somehow because I'm quantum aware. And I wouldn't be quantum aware. I wouldn't have achieved quantum awareness, but somebody deleted all my content last week. And I know exactly who the fuck it was. They might not know that I know, but I know exactly who it was. Rotten piece of shit person, them. But all it did was make me quantum aware, because I live with killers and people who've robbed armored trucks and who've beaten people half to death and spent decades behind bars. They don't fuck with me, because I'm more dangerous than a killer. I'm a free thinker. And I go down Denzel Washington on their asses, and they don't know what the fuck to think. Plasma life forms. It's not ball lightning. These are plasma life forms. They can go into your house. They can go through walls. Yeah, thank you. I know. I'm going to do some more research on them. Fucking worry about YouTube or how many likes and shit I get. I'm lucky to go to bed at night with my teeth not knocked out. And I reason with these fools, because I do some step work on myself and realize that if I'm not the problem, there's no solution. We live in a world now full of people who all think their shit don't stink. Everybody is on a raging path for themselves. Me, my, now. Not me. I always think, damn, what part am I playing in this? You know, I was so hurt last Friday or Saturday when somebody deleted my channel. Most of my, they would have deleted the whole channel if they could have. And I came home from work. I didn't even take a shower. I just got in bed, dusted all the metal shavings off me and shit, and just laid in bed, depressed as fuck. Like, my life sucks. My car's not fixed yet. I'm in a men's group home. Somebody just deleted all my content from 7 years of hard work. And I laid down in bed and I thought, hold on a minute. Wait. That was... And then I remembered Prep Aussie, one of the original Skywatchers. Hi, Marlo. Hey, thanks for helping me out as much as you have and do. Hi, Wayne. Wayne the Pain, it's been a while. I thought to myself, well, Prep Aussie, one of the original Skywatchers, told me, mate, no one cares about yesterday's footage. In fact, you should thank this person because all they did is make room for new footage, and that's what you're good for, mate. That's what you're known for. You go and you get the sky. So get out and get the sky. Don't worry about yesterday's videos, mates. No one cares. It's social media. I was like, well, fuck me. So that was my first consolation. And then I thought, well, shit. You know, I survived living with people who fucking might rip my head off. But I don't give them reason to. Give them a cigarette and shut them the fuck up, you know, and remind them that, you know, that they sound like they're still in prison. I say that to people. You're prison parroting. What do you mean by that? What does that mean? It sounds like you're still in prison, fool. I'm not the enemy. And I'm part black. So get out my face. You ain't in the streets no more, man. Stop riding my ass. American troops standing up against this genocide. And it's going to continue. And the numbers of servicemen and women who see what's happening now is going to increase. The day is coming, folks, where people like you and me are proved 100% right, and it's already starting to happen. Every other fucking news report now is about Sasquatch, strange things falling out of the sky. And I wouldn't be quite so outspoken about this right now, except that the reports are coming out all over the world daily of an increase in meteors, bolides, and other things falling out of the sky. We are coming into a debris field. And 3i Atlas is just a harbinger of it. I saw some fucking channel today. I didn't even write the dude's name down. I remote viewed. As soon as I hear somebody say they remote view or they astral project, I'm like, you's a damn liar. Nobody does that. What is happening is that something is remote viewing us or is pulling us into the astral plane. It's all these fucking old-ass people who dye their hair, men and women. Last night I remote viewed 3i Atlas, and it has 5 million draconian aliens on it. They're all in stasis right now, but 3i Atlas is going to turn around, and later this year it's going to come back and conquer the world. You is full of shit. And those kind of channels have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And people want to say that I'm fantastic. 3i Atlas is most definitely a probe of some type. But these old motherfuckers coming on, I remote viewed. I mean, first off, do I believe that people can remote view? Yes. In groups, like it was meant the fuck to be. By Colonel Edward Dane in Vietnam, who started the remote viewing branch or offshoot group in the Army during Vietnam. There are ways to remote view, but not one fucking person. And I don't trust men who have to dye their fucking hair. First off, everybody can tell you dyed your shit. And second off, why bother? Thank you, Lily. Oh, I'm just being me. Isn't it funny how when I'm me, it's actually, rather engrossing. I sit here nice. Hi, everybody. It's 7, and the composer. I mean, he does tell me he prefers me not cussing, but sometimes he's like, "Go for it." I'm like, thank you. And the angels still watch because there's a filter that goes up to the heavenlies, and they watch. There is a place called the Kingdom of Heaven, and it's not Judeo-Christian, predominantly white, and everybody's not sitting in pews for fucking eternity singing out of a hymn book. There's foosball up there. People shoot craps up in his shit. There's dominoes up in it. Bam! Motherfucker. No, something in all of this way digs the cat. I'm just not allowed to feel that way. I need to conform. I need to fit in. I need to wait and sit and see if, I got 3 subs last night. Then I wake up the next day and I've lost 5. Fuck you, algorithm, and fuck you, jealous-hearted people who run YouTube. I know some of y'all from Cincinnati. You sit there, here's 7. Fuck him. Democracy Now, U.S. and Israel. And U.S. commanders praying religious extremism over the Trump administration. God's divine plan to cause Armageddon vis-a-vis U.S. military action in the Middle East. First, to support the genocide of Gaza and the Palestinian people, who I would say are probably more akin to the children of God than the big mix of Israelis. You can be fucking Chinese and become an Israeli Jew. Palestinians are beautiful. I mean, so many of their people. Like, I'm not trying to speak about the aesthetics of a people group, but my God, they're gorgeous. Green eyes, dark skin, dark hair, curly hair, beautiful hair. Look at your average fucking inbred ass Israeli. Big nose, big ear, bald, fucking goofy looking motherfuckers. Like Netanyahu's funny looking ass. And I hope he did get hit by a bomb. I really do. Fuck that man. And fuck all these Zionists supporting government, congressmen and congresswomen and senators. Bunch of suck-ass Zionists, Christian, fucking nationalist Zionist front. That is what our government is. 70% of Congress and the Senate take checks from Zionist banking guilds. He's hiding. I'll bet he's fucking hiding. What a murderous sack of shit. And now you've got American military people and pastors, God only knows what denomination those fucks are from. And we pray for President Trump that his struggle to overcome evil and who wrote your shit? Sesame Street? You get a Pentecostal like me to lift up some prayers. I could do a 5-hour video of prayer. I could close my eyes, lift up my hands, and the Holy Spirit could just infuse me with prayer that would rock your world. But these people with their scripted ass prayers, and Trump just bows his fucking Oompa Loompa orange ass head there in the Oval Office with a bunch of people laying hands on him. You ought to look off camera and just hear the fucking checks being written. $100,000, $2 million. And you all get to go to the new island that they're fucking making somewhere for them. You know, poor P. Diddy, poor Bill Cosby. Those were the first two to get thrown under the bus. Then the lady that's connected with the Epstein files, and not one other of those people has done time, has had a hearing, has gone to court. Nothing. Only that one lady. U.S. commanders with a holy war and religious extremist Christian people praying over Trump that he would conquer the evil of the Middle East. And, well, I mean, you motherfuckers, man, you can't even go ahead and just say an honest fucking, this is the next Crusades, like the Crusades, all of them were just religious zealotism run amok. Want me to tell you what the first fucking crusade was for? My father told me this. He was rough when we were kids, but when I grew up, you know, he would tell me about 9/11 and the Rockefellers and all these people basically that came over from Great Britain, set up shop on the East Coast, all super Zionist, money-hungry fucking Jew bankers. And I'm part Polish Jew, so fuck you if you think I'm being anti-Semitic right now. You go fuck yourself solidly and squarely between the crack of your ears. Okay? All right? Crusade or defense. No, the fuck. I'm going to tell you what the first crusade was for. Europe was getting full of young fop nobility. Europe was getting, especially Western Europe, was getting chock full of a bunch of snot-nosed, brat, rich kids that were clogging up the castles, screwing all the tavern wenches, pissing in all the hallways in the palaces, overhunting all of the woods and leaving all the carcasses to rot, shitting in the corners of the Castilians' little penthouse and stuff. So the Pope and the great kings of Europe all got together and said, how the fuck do we get our castles back? And they're like, oh, let's start a holy war. Send them all down to the Holy Land to try to conquer back Jerusalem. Sounds like a good plan. They didn't give a fuck, really, necessarily, about conquering Jerusalem again, folks. They needed to clear out Europe of all the young fops shitting all over the place, drinking all the good ale, and taking all the tavern wenches. Think about it, folks. These people who give us their bullshit histories are fucking liars. Hi, Yoga. The Sunni Shiite beef. Well, fuck them. Let them have their beef. Let them roll around in the sand with each other and figure out what camel they get to go fuck. It's none of my business. That is what the Crusades were for. Think about it. Money. It's all greed and money. And it started at home in Europe. My lord, where's Prince John? Well, sir, he went to town last night and burned down your favorite little quaint little tavern. I know. What's the new Pope doing? I don't know. I mean, I kind of like Pope Leo. Last fall, he warned of 3 days of darkness coming. He warned of the Trump scandalous debauchery of this current administration and the current commander and cuckoo chief. You know, that ain't Trump, by the way, folks. You know, I mean, I've never really liked the man, especially after The Apprentice came out 3 decades ago. I mean, a show that promoted stepping on people's throats to get up the corporate fucking ladder and having to go into Trump Towers and suck that little weasel's ass. His uncle, by the way, is the man who stole all of Tesla's research and data. You know, and Pope Leo, who's mixed, by the way, I just first American, mixed. But he warned about him and how that administration is going to usher in 3 days of darkness. Take it or leave it. He's an asshat puppet, I know. The art of the deal. The art of war. Yeah. And now you got people praying over the conquest of the Middle East as if it's a fair fucking fight. But it's never been about a fair fight because all these people are in it together. All of them. And I'll cross certain lines now in saying that if there were a diplomatic, reasonable way to get rid of the tyranny of such horrible shits as the imams in Iran, then that would be a great thing, because I knew a man from Iran. His name was Irej, and his friends would call him Irejun. And he told me about the takeover of the extremist Islamic takeover by the Ayatollah Khomeini in '79, and he said it was horrible. Iran used to be a democracy. The arts were encouraged. Education was paid for by the state. Girls and women were encouraged to go to school. We had some of the best doctors. We had a universal health care. And then all of a sudden, the Ayatollah Khomeini and all of his imams come and render the whole country a third world subsistence and eradicate the arts and freedom and cultural diversity and music and theater, and it all went to shit. So I do understand, but it's not our fucking job to go police the Middle East. It's all about oil and the Strait of Hormuz. And the countries that will suffer first are Russia and China and India. But we'll all be paying a lot more for gas soon, trust me. You do learn something new every day, especially if you learn it from the street. Like my father was very street savvy. He wasn't the best dad when we were kids, but when I grew up after 9/11 and what I learned from him, he had street wisdom. Hi, down with the system. What's up? It's all about fucking money. I'm just going off cusp, which is where I do well. My gut instinct proves at least closer to the mark than a whole bunch of what the media and big channels. I can't watch big fucking channels anymore unless it's about quantum physics. Well, I understand that Russia has oil, just like America does, but everybody bullies the Middle East for their oil because Russia and the U.S. want to save theirs for reserves. So we use up the Middle East's oil. Make them bloody rich so they can build places like Dubai. And the Western ability to demonize Islam, and to what avail? Russia does have oil. So does America. Why don't these two gluttonous superpowers leave the middle fucking East alone and use their own oil? It's because of reserves, folks, because they know that the shit's about to hit the fan. Why would you use up your own oil when you know that the world is about to go dark. Greed rules the world. And the first thing that any greedy fuck learns is don't use your own supply. Don't get high off your own supply. Start to click. Bleed the Middle East dry first. Everything right now, after today, after looking up and seeing the sky, after the promise that it was going to get up to 45 degrees in Cincinnati today. So I'm out on the river at 7:30, and it's really cold from the fake ass Arctic vortices that really cools the sun simulator down. That's what our weather is now. The blazing fake ass sun simulator, which is hotter than hell, that they still don't know how to regulate perfectly, and they don't really give a fuck because they want to melt Antarctica. And then how do you compensate for that fake ass heat? You bring Arctic vortices, which is why the jet stream is no longer going straight across the U.S. It fucking goes up to Alaska and goes down below the equator and back up. And, you know, there is no more jet stream. It's all simulated. 85 degrees here today. Should be 35 and snowing. And that's because you're, I guess, kind of still in the mountains. You're closer up to the sun simulator, and it fucking cooks. Hi, corpse. Yeah, it's going to be a mankind corpse. That's it's just about to get so bad, folks. Maybe not this year, though the heat is going to be deadly all over the planet. We are about to come into some real hard, hot months. It's going to be unfucking bearable in places like Cincinnati, where it gets as hot as Florida. Why? How? I don't know. It's about to be deadly. What time is it? I will be going live tomorrow at a very decent time. Probably about 8 o'clock. I just know that I got to get to bed tonight at a decent time. There's no way I can wake up at 6 o'clock and go fucking wrestle steel all day. I mean, we're getting I think 2 barges full of huge I-beams. They call them rods, but they're huge I-beams. I mean, each one weighs, I think, 15 tons. I'm not even sure. And it's going to be freezing. But then what happened today? It didn't reach 45. Well, I mean, it might have reached 45, but what happens is the sun simulator starts to come out in Cincinnati now, and the huge halo starts to come. So they're like, fuck that. And then they bring in all of a sudden these big black clouds that move from north to south, while the weather is kind of moving from northeast to, or east, or west, northwest to east, southeast. It kind of does fake it. But then all of a sudden these big ass black objects come. Definitely TR4Bs or something, because they're kind of triangular or rectangular. A big black ass thing that just comes and sits above the sun. Then all of a sudden the scalar waves start, and then the sun dies, and it becomes freezing again. These big blasts of super cooled Arctic air that come straight down, and that's the weather. There is no back brace when it comes to working with steel. I just have to get used to it, folks. That's all. I need to get my car back during the next couple of weeks, which I will. Get my own little apartment, which I will. And get back in the gym and strengthen my core. It's the only thing that works when you work, you know, with your hands, blue collar, out, landscaping, construction, stonework. I don't care. You know, I inherited, me and my twin sister both inherited a fucked up 5th lumbar from our dad. And when I go to the gym and work out at least 4 or 5 times a week and just do half an hour of abs and then the other stupid shit, I'm good. But I'll always be in pain. And I am 53 fucking ass-kicked years old. Oh, I know. I'm not ready for what's coming. This heat is going to be deadly. And it is all a manipulation of the sun simulator, fucking 115-degree weather, There won't be any wind. There won't be any cool. There's droughts for 2 months without a drop of fucking rain in Cincinnati and many other parts of the country. It's going to suck. Elon has done a new little interview. Hey, AI. And it's funny how his head was shaking the whole time. I don't trust people whose heads shake when they talk. It either means you're getting older or you're getting Parkinson's disease or you're full of shit. You know, and he's not from this timeline. I don't care. You know, Elon has repeatedly said, I'm an alien. My mom asked me, son, do you think they're aliens? Mother, I am one. Motherfucker. People think that he's a self-made man. His daddy owned precious mineral mines in South Africa during apartheid. AI is going to make so much stuff. It's going to clean up and fix so much. It will do it so quickly that people won't even know it's happening. And there's going to be so much extra money that everyone's going to get free fucking money. Everyone's going to make free money. Elon, everybody's going to get free money. That man has the balls to say that. Everybody's going to get free fucking money. AI is going to fix so much shit and build so much beautiful. It is the twinsies. Do you know if Tai Chi works? Yeah, it does. You just got to be really badass at it, and you have to predict the asshole who's coming at you. I don't know. It doesn't work against street thugs. No. To try some Tai Chi with somebody from the fucking streets of Cincinnati, you're gonna get your ass whooped. This town is full of fucking killers. It really is. I hate this city. But it's home. It's where my family is. And when the shit hits the fucking fan, I know they're all going to think, fuck, Sev was right. I'll be here for my nephew. I'll be here for my younger brother. I'll try to be here for everybody else. But ain't no helping people that don't want to be around a Skywatcher, that hate even the sound of my name. Can't do shit with people like that. But my nephew and my younger brother, yeah. Elon, artificial intelligence and robots and AI is going to fix so much stuff. It's going to fix everything. And there's going to be so much money that people will get free money. You have got me fucking stuck. Now, I'll go live for a little bit longer tonight. Hold on. Let me get a cup of coffee, and I'll be right back. Who the fuck does Elon think he is? Nigga, look, Elon. Your daddy might have owned gold mines and shit in South Africa during apartheid, okay? You were born with a silver diamond crusted spoon up the crack of your ass. Free money. In central Alabama today, 135 people were fired from the waterworks. In Las Vegas, there's a company that fired a bunch of people. All over the country, there's firings going on. 14,000 at Amazon and 50,000 at Google, and the shit goes on and on and on. Who the fuck, Elon? From what little fucking Muppet planet do you come from where there's free money falling out of the fucking sky? I can't stand that slug of a smug fuck. I can't. He is so full of shit. And when he sent that little Corvette out into space, heading to Mars, I thought, wow, talk about mocking the intelligence of your average skywatching person like me. A fucking Corvette floating past the moon. We live on planet fucking dumbass. We really do. kitty. Little son of a bitch. He stays next to me these days. I was so sad last Saturday when my shit got all deleted. I know who the fuck that did it too. They don't think I know. I just laid in bed and he came up and I realized that cats don't purr out of their, throat where they make their sounds. They purr like deep in their chest cavity. It is the coolest thing and it heals. And I thought, man, I'm bummed out about that. And then I remember Prep Aussie, mate, nobody cares about yesterday's videos. I mean, great videos and all, but your best videos are yet to come. I was like, well, shit. And then I heard him say, by the way, you should be proud of yourself, mate. You live with people who've killed folks before, and you're still alive. No, this is just a little bit of a runner-up to the old Sev. Elon. AI is going to make so many wonderful jobs, and it's going to fix everything, and there's going to be free money falling out of the sky for everyone. Who and what the fuck planet? It's really funny how the elites are starting to drop their guards. They're starting to slip up and make stupid mistakes, like Mariah Carey swimming with a dolphin one day, and she let out this high-pitched frequency blip that no human voice could possibly fucking make. The dolphin was so shocked that it swam backwards to get away from her ass. And everybody with the left eye Baphomet Baal thing. Anybody hearing just so much about Baal these days? Marduk? Malak? The god of this world is a demon. Yes, I heard about this. Elon Musk wants to mine a 10,000 quintillion dollar comet. They say it's enough money to make everyone on Earth billionaires. Well, go watch the fucking movie Don't Look Up with the chick that was in the Hunger Games. These people are getting ready to allow the vast majority of mankind to start baking to death, freezing to death, starving to death, get flooded out of their shits, get laid off, fired, put out of work, or fucking eaten by the elites. Our kids are all turning into fucking video game zombies. The young people are all listening to rap music that even rich kids drive around in their BMWs, and once they get the fuck out of their little, turnaround at the front of their neighborhood, they turn on fucking Lil Wayne. They're riding there, it's getting my grandma's waffles. That's all that kid talks about is feeding drugs to unsuspecting young women. All these rappers. Fucking, what's the one dude's name? Drake? Motherfucker looks as black as I do. And he's Jewish. And it's just disgusting. The shit that our young people are listening to these days. It just is. Me and my younger brother, no wonder we never made it big in music, because I'd sing about any time of year, always standing near my baby at that party on that Friday in June. Now young people got to sing about, slipping Mickey to all the bitches who think they gonna get some, gonna have fun till I kick you out next morning. Fuck you, bitch. And I hate you, nigga. I'm gonna sell your mama some drugs that are stashed in my grandma's basement. That's literally the quality of music these days. Or country music. Gonna get fucked up on a whiskey in a cup. And all the girls in getting my truck. I can't listen to contemporary music these days. It's all about sex or drugs or alcohol. It is disgusting. All the contemporary music these days is about promiscuity and getting wasted. Or heartbreak. And I meant to put a segment about this because because I was thinking today about music from the 60s and 70s, 70s and 80s. Because in the 50s and 60s, it was all just kind of very much, I wish they all could be California sluts, you know. And then you had this really interesting time in music where it was about, smoke on the water, dun dun. Even Black Sabbath made some cool shit, and just Earth, Wind and Fire and Bob Marley and the Wailers and reggae music and punk rock and shit that was just out there about breaking free of chains and stuff. And you know, if you're gonna ride, don't ride the white horse. And and then Video Killed the Radio Star happened, and shit's just gotten. I'm kidding. I just felt like saying that. But now it's all auto-tune smut, and the boys sound like girls, and the girls sound like boys. It's really fucking weird, man. You had Paul Simon and shit, and David Bowie, and stuff was just out there. You had Xanadu by fucking Olivia Newton-John, and then all of a sudden, kind of Prince hit, and it was just like, let's fuck, and now it's all just really base, and nobody's going to get a record deal unless they're able to put sexual innuendo into it. White Wedding, it was cool as fuck. I mean, who was that dude? His shit was different. And I'm not saying, folks, that any contemporary modern music of any one given era wasn't for young people to party and have fun and make love and shit. I'm not saying that, but it just wasn't as blatantly disgusting as it is now. It's all become sort of bestial. Billy Idol, yeah. Or Joan Jett and shit. It left a lot of room for imagination. Now the stuff has to be about sex and getting purposefully stupid. And all of our kids are doing this. Or this. Or they're fucking twerking. The fuck, man? I'll never forget a couple of months ago, there was about a 2-month period where every other feed on my homepage was prepubescent girls doing contemporary dance. Like pop music. I had to sit there and put not interested. I ended up having to fucking contact YouTube, like, please do not put young girls scantily clad twerking or doing the splits or any of that shit on YouTube. I had to fucking break my phone and go buy a new one from a nun somewhere in a fucking monastery living in the hills of Yeti land. Took fucking months. Stop requested. Please don't play this shit for me anymore. Trying to rope me in for what? I have taken a vow of celibacy. I don't watch shit with anything. I just don't want to. I know that there's a Miss Right for me out there, and she's gonna be fucking crazier than me. I got on TikTok, and all of a sudden started friend requests. Get me on Telegram. I'm like, oh wow. The fuck is all this about? Fake shit. When I meet me a woman, she's gonna have to go through a fucking Nibiru obstacle course to get to my ass. Okay, you jump over the burning pit with crocodiles, and then you have to go through the blow dart room, and then you have to go climb the fucking Shelob's stairs and go through the dark forest. You might get a date with him. The fuck, man. So easy to get shit these days. And our boys are all, I swear to God, somebody must be actually using all of our boys who are all killing shit, to fight an Ender's Game war off somewhere in a realm somewhere. They think they're playing video games and they're really killing. Fuck, I don't know, man. This reality is really fucking with my head. When we've got the U.S. High Command praying over Trump to bring Armageddon in the Jesus name to kill everybody in the Middle East to get to their oil, and Elon promising that once AI takes everything over, we're all not going to have to work. We're going to get free money. Messing with our minds. Yes, real alien encounter. Ooh, was that? Well, I was watching this channel today who was just, this great new channel that I'm going to try to share, that was showing all the recordings supposedly of the alien interrogations. And people were like, this is just AI. The fuck? I remember those alien interrogation tapes from decades ago, before cell phones were out. So, sorry, folks, if I went a little bit ham tonight. But when I saw them pumping scalar microwave energy through the sky today with a promise of warm weather, knowing that it's going to be cold until about, it's going to be 70, 80 something this weekend. With the simulator out, it's 20 degrees more. They have 4 indices for the weather now. The temperature is, but the heat index is, but the real feel is, they're going to have to come out this year with, but the direct rays of the sun will melt. Somebody did a thing where they put crayons out, the dark colors up to the light colors, out in the direct sunlight. And the dark colors just melted. It's not the sun. Those aren't clouds. You think that's air you're breathing? Sade. This is no boom, 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 boom. No ordinary love. Yeah. You think that's air you're breathing? I'll see some of y'all in the afterplane tonight. Forgive me my nuances, folks. Forgive me my potty mouth. But shit, I'm one of like 2 Skywatchers that are still out here. Me and Dave Dobbs. That's it. I've heard rumors that Steve Olson might be coming back. Oh, that it were so. Because he would set a lot of this shit straight. He would. But I just think that people have been scared off. Many have just passed, like Rap the News. And many others, Bruce Sees All, and about 10 others, men who research the sky who are gone. I ain't going nowhere. It's the Cap. I'll see y'all tomorrow at about 7 o'clock.